Hi, dear listeners, and welcome back to the BPD Bravery Show. Today's guest is Ryan Harland, a mental health advocate raising awareness, especially in men, to talk more about mental health and to break the stigma. He's also the author of a memoir called Riding the Storm, which we will be discussing in this podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hi, and welcome to the BPD Bravery Show, where we discuss tips, strategies, struggles, triumphs, and success stories related to borderline personality disorder. Here is your host, Faye Green.
Chapter 14 is something that I was underlining every other sentence. I'm like, yeah, I could relate to this. I could relate to this. I could relate to this. Weird story, because I know that if we're getting into the book, just the way you named SD, right, sperm donor, and I don't know how I'm part of a group for service dogs on Facebook, and service dogs sometimes they write in short SD.
All right.
And so I was reading a post. Someone wrote they took their SD somewhere, and I'm like, I read it as sperm donor, and I'm like, it was very interesting, but it's interesting how you named him.
Because that's all he ever was, really. That's the only decent thing he ever done.
Yeah, I mean, do you know how many times while reading this book, I was like, oh gosh, I want to hug him. I want to tell him that he's gonna get through this. You know, he might get through this broken, but he's gonna get through this.
Yeah, I have been broken, but now I'm in the best place I've ever been. You know, I've not forgiven what happened, but I've kind of had to forgive the situation because there's nothing I can do to change that. And I had to forgive the situation to kind of say, right, that's in the past. Then I bring it up when I want to talk about it, and I can bring it up in a comfortable way that I know that it's not going to trigger me, it's not going to send me back and send me spiraling, and that, you know, now it's kind of weird. I've kind of turned it into like, I'm glad it's happened in a way that it's made me who I am today, and I love being me and where I am now and the journey I'm on. I don't think I would be this person if stuff like that didn't happen. If that makes sense. I'm not saying that, oh yeah, I'm happy that what happened, but it was either sink or swim. You either just let it drown you or you turn it into a positive, and that's what I'm doing. You know, just be in that position to speak up and say, yeah, this happened to me, and I know it is helping other people out there who have been in the same situation and not got the guts to speak up about it or feel like they're the only ones it's ever happened to. So to know, for them to know that someone else has been through what they've gone through and to come out the other side, it kind of gives them hope, hopefully. And I've had some lovely feedback and people saying that, you know, I've had this happen to me and I've never felt like I could talk about it until I read your book, and now I'm on the process of dealing with it and getting the right help and things like that. So for me, that's my job done. That's the reason why I've done it.
And also, I'm assuming, I mean, the people feel a lot less lonely, no?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's a key component. Now, are you comfortable with talking about your childhood?
Yeah. Yeah.
How was it growing up with, should I call him SD? Or
Yeah. Yeah. You can call
yeah.
him whatever you like. I still
No.
refer to him as SD. It wasn't the best. For me, I was kind of fortunate in a way that I had friends so I could escape the house more than what Kev did. You know, Kev was such a indoors child. He didn't have many friends. His world was his Lego and his drawing and his farm, his toys, and that was his world. For me, I kind of escaped out the house playing with football and things like that. So I know I didn't witness everything going on, but the stuff I did see and what my mum went through, it's only looking back at it now, you kind of realise that wasn't a normal childhood, but at the time you just feel like that's normal. So you kind of just don't talk about it. You just think everyone's the same. but it was never really around. It was always me, mum, and Kev doing stuff. Yeah, it was never a father figure. It's just that was just dad. I hate calling him, but do you know what I mean? That's what I just assumed that was what a dad does. They do whatever they want and come back and expect dinner on the table, things like that, treat their wives like shit, and that's just what I thought was normal. But obviously, as time went on, you see other families when I go and stay around other friends, you think, Mum's here, how comes their dad's there? How comes he's not out doing what he wants and coming home expecting dinner on the table and talking to his wife like crap? Why? And that's when you start piecing things together. And it wasn't until my mum actually left him, then I started seeing the more nasty side of him, and he treated my mum worse and worse and worse. But it's weird that whenever he was around, I was always scared of him, and even when I was a grown man, it's weird. Whenever I bumped into him or went to see my nan and he was there, I kind of just reverted back to that small child again. So it's like do as you're told and don't say no, and just do what you can to keep him happy, so he doesn't treat mum like crap. So yeah, it wasn't a normal upbringing, but it made me appreciate things more than when I had my girls. I always knew that as long as I do exactly the opposite of what he done, then I'd be a better man and a father straight away. And I love my girls a bit. I'm not with their mum anymore, but they're still my world and still my babies, and I'd do anything to protect them. And I never had that from him. And yeah, I feel like I missed out on loads, but I gained more of a bond with my mum than anyone else would. I'm not saying that no one loves their mum unconditionally, but for me, my mum's my whole world. She's my best friend. I speak to her every day on the phone, even now. I went to see her when I finished work earlier on because she's my hero, to be honest. Like everything she went through, dealt with it, and still helped me when I needed it. What else can the son ask for?
And like how did it hit her when she found out about what he did to you and what he did to Kev? Like
Um,
how did she handle it?
Not well. She blamed herself. For many years, she blamed herself, and I can never blame her because the way I look at it, people like that are opportunities. Because she used to go and look after my nan one night a week, and obviously that's what obviously when it must have happened with Kev. When we was all under the same house. And she used to say to me, "Oh, if I didn't do this, I didn't do that." I said, "Mum, they're opportunities. So if you didn't do that, then he would have picked a different opportunity." So it took her a long time to come to terms with what happened, but like I said, me and Kev never blamed mum whatsoever.
Now, I mean, you'd never think if you're a mom, you wouldn't think their father's gonna hurt them,
Exactly,
right? I
exactly.
mean, that's the last person to hurt them,
Mm.
right? It
Yeah,
should be.
yeah. Like I said earlier on, they're supposed to be there to protect you as much as
Exactly.
they can. Obviously, they can't protect you for everything because you've got to live your life, you've got to grow up, you've got to make mistakes to learn from them. But things like that, I don't know. I don't know how people can do things like that. I really, really don't. But there's some sick people out there, unfortunately.
And did your mom ever remarry or find someone else?
She never remarried. She met someone. Was it? It's about 6 or 7 years after they split up. I'll cast him as my stepdad. They're never married, but he was more of a dad to me than SD ever was. And yeah, but then and I gained two stepbrothers from that relationship. Then he died on Christmas Day in 2000, and then she never wanted anyone else ever since. So she's been alone ever since
Mm.
2000.
And what do you think was what was your breaking point? Was it when Kev passed away, or was it later?
Um, it was, I'd say, it was about a year after Kev passed. You know, when before we knew that Kev was really ill and that, and obviously that Manchester bit. You know, Kev's thinking was that he didn't want anything to be done about it, so we didn't say anything. And then obviously when that episode happened in Manchester, I can't remember. Did I mention Manchester in the book?
Yeah, yeah, you do.
Yeah,
When he was in he was lost. He called you and he's like, "Come pick me up, come get me."
yes, yeah,
I'll be honest, I was crying. When you talk about him and his passing, it's heartbreaking. It really is. I mean, he
yeah.
had such a hard life.
He did, and you know, it's even though it was always my older brother by 4 years. From that day at Manchester to the day he died, our roles switched. I become the big brother, not through choice or conversation. It just happened. I just wanted to protect him. And then after he died, I took on the role of sorting out the funeral and that because Mum was in pieces. Obviously, 'cause you don't expect to bury any of your children before you. And then I say about a year after he passed, me and my ex-wife had a second child, and then for some reason I just started going off the rails. I just didn't want to be at home. I just felt like I didn't deserve to be on Earth, and then I just felt like without even thinking it, I just wanted to destroy my whole life. That's when I ruined the marriage. I went ahead and affair, things like that. Which obviously did end the marriage. And then for a good few years after that, I was just bouncing from one relationship to the other, just sleeping with any woman I could, because I needed some affirmation in life, and I thought, and at the time, that was the only way I could get it. But it just made things worse in my life, and I just started taking drugs again and going out drinking a lot, and like I say, just sleeping with anyone. I didn't care if I fancied them or not. I just slept with them. And then I got in this relationship with this woman. I was with for 5 years in the end. And halfway through that, that's when I got the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. And then kind of that set a light bulb in my head. That's when I say my life started to change because I was getting the help that I needed, and I was seeing where I was going wrong in life and seeing the people who was using me. I didn't realise first because I was a yes man, I'd do anything to help anyone. But in this relationship, I was, like I said, within 5 years, I noticed that I was getting mentally and verbally bullied, not physically, but it was like controlling everything we did and had done and using loads of things as reasons to get her own way. And when we first got together, she told me that she'd done cocaine at the weekends, and I'd never been around anyone with cocaine, so I just take them on face value, because that's the type of person I don't judge anyone for their choices in life. Then obviously I started using it at the same time as her, and then I noticed after I had my diagnosis that she was using sex as a weapon to get her drugs. She used to say, "Oh, well, can I have some this night?" I'll be like, "No, not tonight, because I'll get up early in the morning." "Oh, well, I'll sleep with you if you let me have some drugs."
Oh,
And if I said no, she'd go and do it anyway. So that's when I started realizing that this ain't me. This ain't the life I need to be. And then I ended that relationship, still getting my treatment. I made a few mistakes after that. I've had umpteen relationships and that. But I say now I'm with this wonderful woman and she knows everything about me and that, and I feel like I'm complete for the first time ever. Though I feel like I'm in a relationship that I know I deserve, because I felt like I never deserved happiness before. But now I can feel like that this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm on the path where I want to be. I'm in a relationship that I deserve and want to be in, and it feels so good. It's so nice to feel that. I actually feel loved for the first time in my life, and I'm not saying no one else did love me, but I just didn't feel it. I heard the words and said the words, but I don't know, it's just different now. I think it's because I'm a different person now. I just feel like that I can embrace love, and I can embrace someone who wants to be with me regardless, even though sometimes I still feel like I'm a monster when I have my bad days and things like that. And I feel like, oh, why are people putting up with me? And then all she's got to do is just give me a hug, and I'm like, yeah, she's got me. And yeah, it's
That's
I'm a
amazing, though.
I'm a big soppy really,
No,
really, but
that's
yeah, it's yeah, this is me now. This is who I am.
when I was reading at the end, you write. I think it was also in chapter 14. You write about you feeling that you don't deserve happiness, or
Mm,
when your wife wanted to go, when your ex wanted to go on nice vacations, and you felt like you don't deserve it. Why should
mm.
I? You know, maybe now you feel like you deserve happiness, and maybe that's why.
Yeah, I still question it now and again, because I'm still learning. I know that is part of life. Everyone learns as you go, getting older, things like that. So I'm still learning, but now I can make plans, and I know that I've got someone with me who wants them same type of dreams as me, and I feel like that I can achieve anything now. Ever since that book come out, I feel like that. Well, I've done that. I never
Yeah.
thought I could do that.
When did this book come out? Hold on.
2019,
Oh, right before COVID, right? Or during
the
COVID.
year before COVID. Yeah, it come
Oh,
out a day before my birthday, actually. Yeah, so that's my birthday present to me.
wow. No, I mean it's powerful, and like I said, chapter 14, the steps. Am I saying it
Yes,
right? That steps program,
yeah,
because I've not heard of it before. Is that like a because you went first for 18 months in one program, and then you graduate and you go to another
yeah. It started
two?
off as steps, and it was once a fortnight
Mm-hmm.
for 18 months. Then I graduated that one and went on the stairways, which is more intense, and that was every week for a year. And I remember the first day I walked into the steps program, didn't know what to expect, and just sitting there hearing other people's stories. I remember coming out crying. I just thought, wow, I'm with people who are just like me, and they understand when I'm saying how I'm feeling. They get me, and that was powerful to know that someone's sitting there listening to you and they're relating to how you're feeling. And then when they're talking, you're thinking, well, yeah, I do that. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I do that as well. It's like mind blowing. It really was. It really was. It was hard because obviously you have to dig deep into things and you kind of have to learn new techniques. There was this bit in the course I always remember. It's like we've been given the right tools, but we use the tools in the wrong order. So instead of using knife and fork, we would use like a dustpan and brush or something like that. So you have to kind of retrain your brain to
Yeah.
handle different situations, because normally we just go straight away. Yeah, and you have to break down every episode. Every time we had an episode, we had to break it down and try to work back. Like, where do we think this could have started? Then that could have been a trigger, and that could have been a trigger. So what can we do next time to try and stop the triggers happening and that? And obviously, yeah, it works. I still, like I said, I still have my bad days. Still sometimes little things I'm just like, ah. But it's weird. I see a post on Facebook the other day um, that some people can handle real disasters in life, major problems, but if you lose a pen, you lose your shit. And
Yeah.
It's like I went through my brother's death and everything like that. Didn't lose in my stuff like I do if I can't find my keys. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember I wanted to, and I lost people who were very close to me. I mean, like I had my father's sister was my best friend, and when she died, and I I was upset, but I couldn't get myself to cry, and I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Mm,
Like I miss her so much, but I was like, now I'm thinking it might have been just because then I could cry if someone just says the wrong thing, I'm crying. And then my best friend has just died and I'm super sad, but nothing. There
yeah.
is nothing. What's wrong with you? Maybe I should force myself to cry. I don't know. What do you do?
You just deal with it the best way you do it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of the things. I don't think I've cried in such a long time. It's weird. It takes a lot for me to cry now. I used to be such a crybaby growing up. Oh my god, I just cry over everything. But now I feel like sometimes I just cried out. It's just nothing there. It's just Sahara Desert in my eyes. It's just
You've used it all up.
yeah,
I sometimes think, is there it doesn't it end? Because if I'm going through some, like hard times emotionally, and I'm like, does the tears not end? I mean, enough. Like, just
yeah.
stop. Enough. But yeah, I don't think I think I've got a lot of tears in me, especially when you go through breakups, relationship. That's the worst for me.
So I'm a old hand at that. I've had so many relationships, i.e., so many breakups and that, and it's normally they dump me
Oh yeah. I'm
because
sorry. For me.
because I that was the thing with me because I didn't know how to tell someone I wasn't in love with anymore. So I used to go and do the stupidest things, have affairs, make sure they find out, and then they can hate me forever. Instead of just saying, "Oh, this ain't working out for me," and that's the way I
Oh.
dealt with. Oh wow, yeah, it's genius in one respect, but a nightmare in another because it just causes so much more drama. Because you get people hating you and messaging you all nasty stuff, saying, "Oh, you're a complete wanker" and things like that. Why did you do that? But I just didn't know how to upset someone in the normal way. I only know how to do it in the most drastic way possible. Do you know what I mean? It's
I don't know how
crazy.
to do most things in the normal way, so it's okay.
Well, yeah, it was. I should have guessed that was my path in life. Just do everything complete opposite to everyone else, and I'll be fine.
I always tell people, if you need anything destroyed, give it to me. That's my specialty. You want to know what my talent is? Destroying. I have a car now. It's 3 years old. I've changed the bumper on it twice. The
Oh,
the, the shop there, they know. They're like, another ding, another bumper. I'm like, that's what I'm good at. That's it.
next time you're in there, just say, "Look, I'm keeping you in business, okay? So don't moan."
That's a good. You see, that's
Yeah,
the way to go. I mean, first of all, just knowing that you're in a good relationship now, well, it gives me hope at least. That means
yeah.
there's still hope for me that I could get there one day.
I never thought it'd happen. So many people used to say to me, "You need to love yourself before someone can love you." And I
Is
used to
that
think,
true?
well, for a long time, I thought that was a load of bullshit. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
But when COVID hit, and obviously we was all in lockdown and that over here, I had to spend a lot of time on my own, and normally that was the worst for me. I hated because that was the time I used to overthink and wind myself up and everything. But I kind of found myself in lockdown, and I found to love myself a bit more. And then coming out of lockdown, I met this lady, and it's crazy. There is someone out there for everyone. I believe that now. It's taken me 45 bloody years to find her, but she's here now.
Well, I'm almost there then. You're saying at the age of 45, I'll find it. I'll find it. Okay. There's
I'm not
hope.
saying it's 45 for everyone. It's just me. It might take someone longer or shorter. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. If you're 45 and you still haven't, I'm not taking responsibility on that one.
So how did you work on loving yourself? Did you do anything special or did it just happen?
I think it just happened. I didn't plan on doing it. It just, I think being forced into that situation, like I said, being in lockdown, couldn't go to work and couldn't do anything. I just kind of just went inside myself and just relaxed for the first time ever. It's weird. I don't remember doing anything specific or anything like that. I just realised one day, well, I've just spent all that time and I haven't had many bad thoughts about being let down and things like that. And because I felt like, probably because I knew people couldn't come and see me and keep me company and things like that, that it was a case of put up or shut up. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain that one. To be honest, it just happened, and yeah, I'm quite lucky because I know a lot of people went complete opposite during lockdown. They lost their shit. They lost their minds. But yeah, I enjoyed it in the end. To be honest,
That's good. That
yeah.
is so good. For me, I when COVID happened and we were quarantined, I realized that I lead a very lonely life because my life didn't change at all. And I was like, "Oh, everyone's talking about this and that, and not being gay." And I work from home.
Did you change after that? Did you be more outgoing or?
It's on my to-do list.
Oh,
I'll
I,
be honest with you.
I know them to do this so well.
I was when I was in New York, it was very different. But moving down, I live in North Carolina now,
Mm,
and I don't know what to say. I just haven't found my place here.
mm.
And I was in Greece this summer for 2 months. I have more friends in Greece than I have here in North Carolina, and we
Oh.
don't even speak the same language. So I think it might be time to move. um, yeah, I just haven't found my place here. Honestly, it's as simple as that.
Mm.
So I'm renting, and it's the lease is over in June, and I think that's it. I'm gonna pack my stuff and head elsewhere.
What are you thinking?
I
Or
have
you can
no.
just throw a dart at the map again and say, "Yep, that's what the Irish
No.
Sheppy." The Irish
Is that
Sheppy.
a real place? Okay.
Oh,
Let's
just
go.
Google it. Google it.
Because there's this other island, Isle of Man, I think.
Yeah, there's loads. You've got Isle of Man, you've got Isle of Wight. Then up in Scotland, you've got so many islands. You've got Isle of Skye, Isle of Scilly. I can't think of all the others. That's way up north. But yeah, there's loads of islands around here.
I need to get an EU passport somehow. I'm trying to figure out how I can get an EU visa. Because that's amazing. Think about it. You could go anywhere that's part
Mm.
of the EU.
Well, we're not part of the EU anymore.
I know.
No.
Could you
So,
take out your old passport, or it doesn't work that way?
um, I've still got the old one. It doesn't run out till 2024. I don't think we have to renew it or get a new one until our old one runs out. I think it's still legal. I'm not sure.
So let's go back to the book. What made you actually write the book? Why did you decide, okay, I'm writing this book? Because I'm assuming a lot of people have. I personally don't have that, but I talk to so many people who they want to write a book. That's they want, but they don't actually do it. What
Mm.
made you say, okay, I'm writing this book?
Originally, it was to just talk about brother's life. That's what it was going to be. Because where we was from, the island is so, because it's a small place, everyone knows everyone's business, and there was lots of rumours going around and people sticking up for a sperm donor and things like that, and they didn't know the truth. And obviously, Kev moved to London when he was 18, and as a child, like I said earlier on, he didn't go out much, didn't have many friends. So I just wanted to celebrate his life, his 33 years of life, and just it was just going to be mainly about him. Then, then I put it on hold when obviously I hit the rails and things like that. Then it was not long after I first got diagnosed, I went to the STEPS program, I just thought this would be good for me to put everything down in words, so then I can put everything in place and use it as part of my healing. And I wasn't going to have it published at first. And then when it was finished, I thought, "Do you know what? Why hold it back?
Why not?
Why?" Yeah. So I just thought, sod it. So I spoke to the woman who helped me write the book, and she helped me set it up on Amazon. And that was 2019. And now I'm here talking about my book to everyone I come across. I'm selling copies, and it's lead me into charity work. I've got a convention tomorrow. My first convention with this charity called Clear Path. It's for
Mhm.
survivors of abuse and things like that.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to help me set up Ryan and Storm as a brand. I want to go into merchandise, get t-shirts and things like that, start down that road. And I want to go into motivational speaking as well. So they're going to help me go down. I feel like it's weird. It's hard to explain the feeling, but I feel like this is why I'm here on this earth, is to do this, and I love it. I love talking about mental health. I love talking about my story. Not that I'm bragging about it or anything like that, 'cause there's nothing to brag about, but I just feel like that if someone can tell their story and it helps one person, then that's a success. So if I can keep telling my story, then hopefully I'm encouraging other people to open up, deal with their feelings and experiences, and get the help that they deserve, even though the help over here is awful. It's when it comes to mental health. If you're not an alcoholic or a drug addict, you won't get as much help. And for me, I don't think that's right. I don't um, agree with people using drugs and alcohol to deal with their problems, but I don't. But I understand. But why should they get help when people who are trying to do things naturally and the right way don't get as much help? And that's one thing I want to change.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
like to change.
Mentioning that, I'm not gonna say who, but I know of someone who was struggling a lot with her mental health, and she wasn't getting any help, no help, abusive situation, coming from an abusive situation. And guess what? She started doing drugs, and that's all of a sudden all the doors opens. And
Mm,
talking about the US.
yeah,
All of a sudden everyone's there to help and everyone's giving and everyone's so that's like for me, from an outsider, I was like, damn, that sucks. I mean, she
yeah,
should have gotten that help before, she went
exactly.
down that route.
You shouldn't have to go to that length of doing that in your life. And there's people who feel like there's no other way out and go and commit suicide because they know that they think that if they talk about their problems and they're just going to get shunned, so they just think, well, I've got nothing else to live for, and they go and kill themselves. And
Yeah.
it's such a shame. There's so many people, young people, ending their lives because they feel like they've got no one to turn to. They feel like that no one's going to listen to them. And so that's why I started these bands. I don't know if you could, it might be backwards. I've got
Oh,
Listening Saves Lives. I started
that's
these,
cool. Oh,
and
you're
obviously,
making them.
well, not me
Are you
personally. I'll get someone to make them for me, and I've started selling some, but it's hard. It's hard to get enough people involved because it's still such a taboo. And but I won't give up. This is what I'm saying. I want to go out there and do as much promoting and things like that. Get people to start listening and opening up, and and to make them realise that listening does save lives. Because if someone can offer their problems to someone for half hour, that's a massive release for them. Do you know what I mean? And to know that you're being heard and not just you're talking and someone's going, yeah, 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 whatever, but to know that you're being heard and someone can give you advice, that's going to make a massive difference to someone's life. And that's what I want. I want to
That's
scream to
great.
people. You know,
But you've already started your journey. I
yes,
mean,
yeah,
this book, just sharing those stories and people feeling less lonely, that's already, one
mm,
step. You've started it's not like, okay, I want to start your journey. You're already on the journey. Look, you're an awesome dude. I really enjoyed talking to you.
thank
And
you.
The book is absolutely amazing. Riding the Storm by Ryan Harland. Love it, love it. And thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and for everything that going out there and raising awareness. We need it. We need it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's BPD Bravery Show. If you've enjoyed it, then like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to tune into our show every Monday and Friday. And remember, you are so much more than your BPD.